It's 1973. President Nixon is currently in presidency with his new war in Vietnam. The War Powers Act was an attempt of Congress to be able to gain the powers back that the framers wanted them to keep, a check on balances with the presidency. Numerous times have the presidency attempted to move troops without Congress's approval, ultimately counteracting Congress's entire point of checks and balances on the president. So, whenever Nixon went into Vietnam and attempted to do some meddling in this area, the Congress wanted to pass the War Powers Act of 1973. The War Powers Act of 1973 ultimately requires an agreement to move troops by both the presidency and Congress, with the quote, "The collective judgment of both the Congress and the President will apply to the introduction of the armed forces of the United States in hostilities," end quote. There is also a new notification for Congress if the President ever wanted to move armed forces into any hostility. This can be seen with numerous instances where the President has needed to move troops, but Congress was needed to be notified through the head of the House of Representatives with the Speaker of the House, as well as the President pro tempore of the Senate. Now, with this entire thing, there's also a statement where this wouldn't change any treaties that America currently had. Now, during the processing of the War Powers Act, Nixon had immediately vetoed it. He saw this as an unbalanced check on his own powers that was not needed. So, he tried to veto it. Now, Congress overrid it because they still believed in their intent that their ability to check the president was being removed without this War Powers Act. So, they passed it. But over the numerous years, there have been numerous presidents who have basically broken the War Powers Act, where whenever they were trying to move our forces into hostilities, they never contacted Congress in the first place. This has occurred with President Reagan, President Clinton, and President Obama. They've ultimately ignored the War Powers Act and have had to face numerous retributions in response.